Hello, I'm Diane Trees. Orlando's Citrus Bowl's substantial overhaul began in January 2014. Now known as Camping World Stadium, the vision of attracting major bowls and other events has materialized. Steve Hogan, CEO of Florida Citrus Sports, guided the development. He joins us now. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I think some people would be surprised to find that Florida Citrus Sports is actually a nonprofit organization. What's the mission?
Well, you know, we were originally incorporated like many of the historical bowl games. Orlando is a young community, actually enjoys one of the 6 oldest bowl games in the form of what is today's Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. So it's now in its 71st year of operation. And most of those organizations were formed to manage that game. And the job was putting heads in beds, economic impact, exposing a community or a destination nationally on television. And that's really the mission then, and that's the mission now. We just happen to do it in a more robust way than maybe most cities have as an asset in their community.
Now, you started out some 20 years ago with Florida Citrus Sports. You worked your way up to CEO. It must be amazing to see what you've accomplished. How does this feel now, and what's kept you passionate and involved for so long?
You know, it always seems like there's a new challenge, and you know, before I was in this career, I'd done some advertising, was in the newspaper business and cellular business. So this is certainly a lot more fun and rewarding. I get to see the work come to life, so to speak, at the end of every year and multiple years of building stadiums. I deserve no credit. I think our staff, our community, our board, this community, this region as a whole has really transformed in the last decade or so in terms of how they work together, and we've been a bit of a beneficiary in that. And it's certainly enjoyable when the stadium, which was a 70-year-old asset in this community, was in really excessive decay. We were at the borderline of losing all these events that we had spent so long in this community shoring up. I mean, 70 years of tradition in the postseason of college football was valuable. The Florida Classic, the largest black college game in the country, was valuable. Some of the neutral site stuff we had already lost. So I think it was so exciting to see that when this community and political leadership came together after the recession and said, we're going to make this date certain, and began construction, it was amazingly rewarding to see it actually torn down and then rebuilt before my very eyes.
You were very dedicated, though, in making this happen. I know the renovations are relatively recent in completion, but what about a targeted, projected economic impact? And are you meeting that to date now?
Well, I think exceeding it. You know, we like to say promise made. If you do this, more business will come. Not only will we save the business that we have, but we'll go secure more business. So the promise was made, and the promise I think has been kept for sure in the first 2 years of operation. If you look at the events that we've just had, it's too many to count probably here on this TV show, but you know, I'm excited about the fact that the stadium was in the neighborhood of probably $100 million a year in annual economic impact before its renovation. Now, post-renovation, the EDC had done a study of all 3 of the community venues, the Amway Center, the Art Center, and the stadium at the time, that said we should be in the $250 million a year economic impact generation post-renovation. I think we've easily exceeded that this past 2 seasons.
Well, we just recently hosted the Pro Bowl here in Orlando at Camping World Stadium. Were you pleased with that? How did things go?
I'm pleased with it. You know, there's always some things that you saw that you could have done a little bit better. I would love to have been about 15 degrees warmer. It was a little bit
without
cold.
the rain, yes.
But other than that, it was so cool for this community to really look at one of the pinnacle events that you can have. The NFL is such an amazingly popular sport in our country, and whether you're going to have the NFL draft or the Super Bowl or the Pro Bowl, those are the 3 options from a neutral site opportunity. And to think that we won one of those 30 plus years in Hawaii. The only other times it had been into the lower 48 was in Houston and Miami and Phoenix, when it was parked with a Super Bowl. So it was kind of in the same Super Bowl city. So this is the first truly neutral site city that they came and said, let's figure out a different way to interject life into this, celebrate the sport at all levels, children, families. They had a women's tackle football game. The USA Football National Conference moved here to Pro Bowl week. Don Shula's award was here, punt, pass, and kick competitions, NFL Youth Flag. You know, they actually built a fan fest. So to me, I think beginning to end, and talking to the commissioner on game night, they were exceedingly happy with how Pro Bowl and Orlando year 1 went.
There was quite a bit going on all week, and you heard all about it. So it was quite a significant thing to capture and bring here. What do you think it's going to take to land a title game like Tampa did with the National Football, the College National Football Championship?
A lot of money. Other than that, no. tease in part, but these, the national championship is not dramatically different than a Super Bowl in terms of what a city or a region has to do. We have all the assets for the most part that a national championship city needs to have. Great volume of hotel rooms, the weather, airport, all the things, the attractions, the things that Orlando is so great for is what they want. The stadium now is functional. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done. Back when we did the 2007 approval, everybody knows, both of our elected mayors, that the budget was cut short by about $20 million. So everybody's focused on how we get those elements put into the building still in the future. Once you do that, it's about a $18 to $20 million one-time kind of budget to host an event of that magnitude. So tourism has to decide, and probably a little bit later this year, need to get together and say, let's look at the out 6 or 8 years, which year might make sense for us when you look at conventions and leisure travel and what those kind of peak times in the hotels are. Once you've identified that, are we kind of ready to invest this amount of resources in an event? If we do that, we can have one. I'm convinced that they would like to do one in Orlando.
That's not a long time away or a lot of money. What about the other sports venues that we have here? The soccer stadium now with Lake Nona and the tennis headquarters. Does that factor into events, what you want to bring here to Central Florida?
Totally. I think when you look at all the energy that's going on here, now the soccer stadium coming online, USTA, the people that are choosing to do various types of training even over at the Nona Complex, and now the arena, the Amway Center with the Arts Center and the stadium all sit on Church Street within a number of blocks of each other. And each success that we have, whether it was the NBA All-Star Game a number of years ago, World Cup back in '94, now the NFL Pro Bowl, these huge kickoff college football games, international, we had Copa America here, Olympic soccer in '96, all these things that we do tell the country and to some degree the world that we're open for business and we can be successful at these. So they include us as a top city that they have to vet when these opportunities are created. So I think that's really what has begat more success for us, is this aggregation of these individual wins and now this community spirit around saying whatever it is we want to focus our sights on, we can go get.
You are also very visible in the community. Orlando, you have a program. Can you talk a little bit about that and the Florida Citrus Sports, your involvement with it?
Yeah, this will probably be the thing I'm most proud of. So when I look back, in my career, it won't be because we hosted any major event in the stadium. I think it'll be because the way that the community around the stadium develops
Orlando
in the next
Lift
10 years.
is,
Lift
yeah,
Orlando,
Lift Orlando,
which is an
yes.
acronym for Learn, Identify, Focus, and Transform. And we spent the first year saying, what if the real success story around the transformation of the stadium was that impoverished families could forever change the destiny for their children? And I think, how do you use the stadium as a life force, a beating heart right in the middle of that neighborhood? It's a 3/4 square mile footprint that we focus on. 1,500 in-home surveys we did with mom and grandma saying, what's it going to take for you to be successful? And the business community came alongside of them to pursue that agenda. So now 4 years in, you focus on health and wellness, jobs and access to jobs, education, obviously, and then a healthy, a safe place to live, housing. So we're going to break ground in a few weeks on a $40 million mixed income affordable housing development just a couple blocks from the stadium. Going to invest about $8 million in Lake Lorna Dune Park. Jobs are moving into the neighborhood. College football playoff pegged us as the site to do hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment in those schools. So Lift Orlando, I think when you look back in a few years, ABC broadcasters are going to say, you won't believe what they did here in Orlando. It was because it all started with a stadium and a neighborhood who teamed up together to do something nobody else had done.
But you did a lot with this too, because when you were seeking funding for the stadium, you also coupled it with an ask for money for this program. We were just coming out of the recession, a lot of fear of being overextended. You took a risk in doing that. It's obviously extremely important to you.
Well, it is. I mean, this is the most important thing to our board, to our membership, to the neighborhood. And we never promised this as something as part of the renovated stadium, right? It was all about the business of the stadium. So after the fact, because many times you'll see professional franchises talk about build this here and everybody will be better for it. That never happens. We wanted that to be really an organic part of what happened here. So we asked for the renovations, we pushed those through, but in the end, we as a little nonprofit are investing $1 million of our own money into the park and have leveraged tens of millions more through that board of directors in order to get where we've gotten to today. So Lift Orlando will be a story, I think, now that'll be seamlessly intertwined into the success of Camping World Stadium moving forward.
You must be very proud of that.
I am, but take no credit in it. What I'm most proud of is now when you come to the stadium, the residents renamed that neighborhood West Lakes neighborhood. So now you'll hear "Welcome to the West Lakes neighborhood" in Camping World Stadium. You heard that at the Pro Bowl. Many of those kids were there. They had done well in their report cards. They get free tickets, or families come. So they are absolutely, they view this now not as a physical obstacle in their neighborhood, but something that's absolutely a part of the fabric of their community.
Yeah. Can you give me just a little bit of an insight of what's next?
Well, I can tell you that next, we just got to keep the ball rolling, right? We're going to have another Pro Bowl in 18. We got to work to supplant or to secure some more neutral site NFL preseason games, hopefully a regular season game down the road. Future kickoff games are going to be critically important. We got 2 in 18 and 19 coming up. And then international soccer this year. We're going to host an International Champions Cup soccer game, which is the largest tournament in the country, on ESPN later this summer. And then just we'll see what else avails itself. We'll go grab it.
It's so exciting. And I forgot the Pro Bowl is, you have it for another year coming up.
We do, and then an
Yeah.
option on 19.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.